Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank these petitioners for bringing this matter to us. We must acknowledge that this community, and as Senator Milgo has elaborated and told us that even some of the representatives have been going to see her on this issue. These are people who have not tired to look for justice. And we must tell them that their pursuit of justice is not in vain. When they come to these offices, when they come to the Senate of the Republic and other institutions to seek what is rightfully theirs. The Bill of Rights creates and is really one of the core parts of our Constitution, what we call basic structure. And that is a real basic structure, not what we were hearing last time. That these rights are not what is given to you by government, but it's what cannot be taken away from you by the government. And we must really appreciate them and tell them that they must know that there are people, senators in this country, from different communities, not necessarily theirs, not even close to where they are from, but who believe in their right to exist in this country. Mr. Speaker, at a time like this, when our country is talking about, our pursuit of unity, trying to create cohesion, trying to build bridges, Mr. Speaker, we must understand that there is no way we can build bridges. There is no way we can achieve cohesion without equalizing opportunities. You must equalize opportunities for every Kenyan, no matter where they come from, no matter where they're born. If there is a section of Kenyans from Habaswein to Migori, from Kilifi to Turkana, and anywhere in between, who do not feel as Kenyan as the next Kenyan, just because their tribe is small, or just because they have gone through historical injustices and nothing has been done to them, Mr. Speaker, then our claim to building bridges, our claim to pursuing cohesion really is tainted, Mr. Speaker. Building bridges cannot focus on 4 or 5 big communities or a few big communities. We must have, at the radar of these initiatives or this endeavor, the national spotlight must be first on these communities that have been considered small. Because, Mr. Speaker, the problem we've had, apart from competition between communities, and especially big communities, has been that we've never been able to truly define what is a Kenyan identity, Mr. Speaker. Are we just 43 communities or 44 who are found within 586,000 square kilometers and must get along? Or is there something that runs through that makes us Kenyan, so that we can say we are Kenyan first? What does it mean to be a Kenyan, Mr. Speaker? If we don't do this, all of these attempts, and of course, Mr. Speaker, I support these attempts because they're not the final attempt, but all of these attempts will come to naught. Because even after you finish this first amendment, will Kenyans feel as Kenyan? When today they cannot access offices, they cannot be, responded to on their issues, when they're being evicted, Mr. Speaker. And it's not just about communities. Opportunities are not just communities in terms of ethnicity. Opportunities are also about class, Mr. Speaker. I'm very happy Senator Cherargei has given us an example. We've sounded like broken records in this house when we talk about evictions. Yet we have protocols in this country about how to deal with evictions. I have brought issues of Ruai, Mr. Speaker, of Njiru, Mr. Speaker, to this house. I brought issues of Kariobangi. And sometimes I sympathize with the Committee of Lands because they're more or less overwhelmed. That committee has 27, 28 petitions, and I'm sure you'll probably give this petition to them as well. They will not sort these petitions. Mr. Speaker, we must design a better way for us to be effective, because we will just bring petitions and prayers will not be answered. And Kenyans will get tired when they keep coming for recourse here and nothing is done. But Mr. Speaker, unless we fully respond to these issues, unless we make sure the common mwananchi, the poor Kenyan, understands that they have as much right as the rich Kenyan, the small community understand that they have much place in this country as the big community, all of these efforts we're talking about towards cohesion will mean nothing, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I brought a statement that I hope I'll get a chance this afternoon about what's happening in Nairobi. Look at Mlango Kubwa. Kenyans are being harassed, young people. They're being hounded by police. If something similar happened in Lavington or Karen, Kenyans are treated differently, Mr. Speaker. What kind of country is this, Mr. Speaker, where there is a first-class citizen and a second-class citizen? A first-class country cannot have different classes of citizens. Every individual Kenyan must be able to enjoy the same rights as being Kenyan. And that is a true pursuit that we as legislators, that we as citizens in this house of equalization, and Mr. Speaker, this is the only house of equalization. This is a house where the senator for Lamu with 120,000 people has one vote, like the senator of Nairobi with 4.3 million people, because it's a house of equalization that balances out the tyranny of majority in the National Assembly. And that's why such a petition, Mr. Speaker, must take heavy precedence, must be looked at very important, with a lot of significance in the Senate, more than even in the National Assembly, because that is a representative house. That's a house of representatives. Here we have corporate representation. So, Mr. Speaker, I urge senators, and especially those who've been here for a long time, how do we assist this committee? Mr. Speaker, I have pending petitions in the Committee of Lands, and I know their chairman is extremely hardworking, Senator Gidiomi. He actually goes out of his way. Even sometimes in other committees, he helps me chair sometimes Labour Committee. But we must be creative. That committee has too many functions, land, housing, environment, water, that they will not be effective. Wildlife, they're looking at animals. Mr. Speaker, we can't be able to operate like that moving forward. We need to be told, and I hope actually, Mr. Speaker, this petition goes maybe to the Justice Committee as opposed to Lands Committee. The 10 billion that His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta spoke about years ago in the State of the Nation address, when he did one of the things that was recommended in the TJRC report, he asked for forgiveness on behalf of the government of the Republic of Kenya. Remember, the government of the Republic of Kenya exists in perpetuity, from the colonial government, then the first government. And that was a big, big thing, Mr. Speaker. Thereafter, he said that a fund of 10 billion shillings, and I'm not sure if the National Assembly then appropriated it, be set aside to help address these historical issues. Mr. Speaker, what is the legislative, or rather what is the framework, the institutional framework through which this is being done? Those are the questions that Senator Mugeni's committee, and many times I have faith in Senator Mugeni's leadership as chair of JLAC, Mr. Speaker. He has been outstanding. Those are the questions we must bring answers to. Was it just a promise? Because I'm sure the president intended well when he set up that, when he gave that directive, Mr. Speaker, that what is the legislative framework, what is the institutional framework through which we can be able to bring, solutions and heal wounds. Look at what happened in Wagala. Those people were happy when the president made that apology and committed that money. But years later, nothing has been done, Mr. Speaker. So we need to look at that, and I pray that the prayers of these petitioners, and I want to thank them, will not go and land on deaf ears. Their prayers will not be in vain, and I support this petition. Thank you.